Welcome back, everyone, to the Williams Pulse, the official news podcast for WBU. My name is Archer Dinst. I'm a freshman here at Williams. Joining me here today is my fellow co-host, Kinsman, and our guest this week is Dr. Ryan Putman. He is the professor of Christian Ministries here at Williams and also the Dean of Academics. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Putman. Thank you for joining us here today.
Glad to be with you guys.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us. And also, thank you for teaching us how to cheat during new student orientation. I really appreciate that.
I want you to be very effective at it.
Yes, well, you taught me some new techniques that I hadn't even heard of yet.
Yeah,
so that was pretty cool.
One of my recommendations was to break into your professor's offices, in the middle of the night, come down through the air conditioning vent.
Oh yeah, like Tom Cruise, Mission Impossible.
Yeah, just like I didn't know if you were going to get that reference. I almost said it, but I just didn't know. That movie came out a long time ago. All right, so I'm glad you got that, Archer.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes.
Yeah, Archer's a movie buff, but
I'm
not really as much. I have not seen too many movies.
You've told me you've only watched one episode of The Office.
Yes.
In the conversation right before this started.
I haven't even
he watched episode 1, season 1, and I think anybody who's listening would tell you, Kinsman, that's not what you judge The Office by, okay? You need to make it a priority this weekend. This is your homework.
That's
I'm
right.
requiring this for your
Will I
class.
get extra credit for it or not?
I might fail you if you don't do this,
no.
okay? I don't know the
Okay.
extra credits. I mean, you really need to watch a little bit of The Office, okay? It's gonna set you straight.
I won't form any opinions on it yet until I start season 2.
Season 2, don't just, and I think the same thing's probably true of Parks and Rec, but yeah, certainly Office season 2 is where it starts, and then it really hits stride in season 3. So, all right, that's all I'm going to say about The Office for right now.
So, before we get into our rapid fire questions, I had a more of an open-ended question because it's been something I've been thinking about. So, a 2019 research by Lifeway shows that 66% of young adults who are raised in the church walk away from faith when they enter college. And I kind of have a two-part question for you. Number one, why do you think that is? And number two, how can we not only prevent ourselves from walking away from the faith, but strengthen our faith throughout our college journey?
That's a great question. One that probably I'm not ready for after talking about The Office so seriously. One thing I would say, Kinsman, is that a lot of people who walk away from the church, I think, do so kind of accidentally. If you don't make church a priority in college, if you're not actively involved in a local church, then very likely the habits that you form or develop in college will follow you the rest of your life. And I find that in my own church, a lot of the kids that grew up in the church that are not connected or not plugged in, that's really what happened to them in college or when they started in their career. Some of them didn't go to college; they just jumped straight into their career. They never made a priority of a church attendance, church involvement, and so to me, that's one of the things that sort of sticks out is you deciding as a freshman coming in. Whether you're at the church that you're at your all 4 years or not, you need to be part of a local church. And I wouldn't just say like attend a local church. I would say make a commitment to join a local church, even if it's just going to be one that you're going to be part of for a short window of time. You're only there for a season. Find opportunities to serve, to plug in, to be connected. And for some of you, that might be like being part of a large church and being involved in worship services and the collegiate activities they have. But for some of you, it might be something a little bit more focused, maybe going to a smaller church where you're actually plugging in and you take leadership roles pretty quickly. I think there's a place for both types of churchgoers, but I would say get plugged into a local church. That's one of the first and most important priorities I would encourage any incoming student or returning student, for that matter, if they've never plugged into a local church. I would push that and encourage that there too.
Yeah, and I noticed that even in my own life, if you're not being intentional, it's very, very easy just to drift away and you lose focus. And the more you actually set for yourself boundaries and like, okay, I'm gonna do this. I need to read my Bible every day, and not just to check it off.
Yeah.
a list, but to actually learn from it. So yeah.
And you use the word right there, drift. I think that's a good word. You never drift intentionally. This summer I went on vacation with my wife and kids to Panama City Beach, and we were there for the 4th of July, which is the craziest week to be there. I mean, it's redneck Riviera. I mean, everybody's out. It was an experience in and of itself. But they had red flag warnings out, and I thought, I can handle this. I can swim in the red flag warning. But just the week before, 3 or 4 people had died on that beach because of rip currents. And the way that rip currents essentially work is you're there in the ocean. You might be wading through the water, and you don't know it, but the water is pulling you further and further out to a point where if you don't swim the other way, you're going to get caught up in the rip current, and you're going to be taken out to the sea. And the thing that's kind of scary about that for a lot of people is they try to swim towards the beach, what's right in front of them, but it's too late. They need to swim parallel to the beach. They need to swim, out of the rip current. Again, the point being, you look up one day, you're drifting, and then all of a sudden you realize I'm so far from where I should be.
Mm-hmm.
And intentionality, involvement, those sorts of things play such a vital and important role in I think staying connected to your faith.
Absolutely.
Or for many of you, starting your faith for the first time. I mean, either way.
Yeah, very wise words for sure. So we're going to kind of change pace a little here. We've got
Okay.
some rapid fire questions for you. Archer?
Do you prefer coffee or tea?
I'm one of those people that you like talking about hot tea or like hot coffee.
I guess so.
Because I really drink neither of those things. Like
Right.
I drink coffee with an adequate amount of sugar and milk to the point where and sweetener where it doesn't taste like coffy.
It's just like a sweet treat.
I want
right.
I want a little bit of coffee with all my milk and sugar. And tea, I mean, I am like the world's worst Southerner. I don't like sweet tea.
Really?
I really just don't like sweet tea.
How about your go-to snack during grading?
Wow, let's see. What would make me in a better mood as I'm grading? Oh, man, chocolate usually puts me in a better mood for grading. Just take note of that.
That's a classic.
I don't know. I'm not much of a snacker. I do occasionally getting those soft pretzels,
those are pretty good.
Yeah.
You can get the freezer section at Walmart.
So if a student wanted to really make you happy, what snack should they bring to you?
It's definitely chocolate.
So, yeah, I heard you're quite a movie buff, and maybe you like comics and stuff. So next question is, what is your favorite comic book villain?
When I was a kid, I collected Superman stuff, and because I'm a Superman fan, I will say that my favorite villain of all time is definitely Lex Luthor. At least the way that Lex Luthor is done when he's done properly.
What would you say your favorite Superman movie is?
Probably one of the Christopher Reeve ones. I mean, I have some appreciation for, say, Man of Steel, but it's just too dark. It's a little too, edgy for me personally.
What is your favorite place on campus?
For me as a student, my favorite place was the Grill. Not only did I have a lot of great conversations with friends there or great meals, but also we had PM services there, and certainly very, very meaningful to me. Now, I really enjoy the chapel.
So what is your worst classroom pet peeve?
I don't much care for people playing on their iPads. I'm going to be walking back and forth in class, and if I see you playing Retro Bowl, I just want to pick up your iPad and throw it up against the wall.
I'll see people on their iPads playing something, and as you're walking by, they change tabs over real
I
fast.
know, I know.
Yep.
It's really funny to watch.
Again, I'm not, I wasn't born yesterday. I'm aware of what they do, but that's their loss because they're missing out on all these great gems that I have to throw out.
Exactly. All right. So, what do you think the craziest thing you had to deal with as the dean of academics?
If I told you, I'd have to kill you.
Oh no.
Probably. I don't know that there's one crazy thing, but I mean, I do all the stuff with the cheating at the beginning of class because I do have to deal with the cheating. If a student were to come in and say, hey, I didn't cheat on this particular assignment that very clearly was generated with ChatGPT, I'd just be like, oh, well, why don't you tell me about this assignment?
Right.
I've read this assignment. Tell me what you wrote in it. And, so, I mean, those experiences, while they're miserable for the person who's in my office, I think they can be kind of funny sometimes,
Okay, so like on the flip side of that, I would ask, what is your most impactful moment you've had with a student as a dean?
A lot of times that happens at graduation or even after graduation, when I have conversations with alumni who just will sometimes tell me out of the blue, you made an impact on me, and I was in a dark place when I was in your class or whatever, and something you said was encouraging. Those kind of moments happen. They really do lift your spirits. And when I see my students go on and succeed, go on to graduate school and then do other things beyond that, I'm always really proud of what they've accomplished. I've had several of my former students who've now, gone on and written books and pastored churches and that sort of thing. And just to see God do some pretty cool things in their life, it's always a really encouraging sort of thing.
And to wrap up these rapid-fire questions, what is one piece of advice you can give to students that has impacted or changed your life?
Being disciplined, being focused. I mean, the same sort of stuff that I would tell any student is it's a really, really good thing to take good notes in class. It's a really, really important thing it's the best of your ability to be in class. It's very worth it. And I mean, I'm not going to say that you're always going to make an A in a class that you show up for, but you certainly can't, go wrong in being active, being present, being attentive, those sorts of things as best as you can. I want to say that so far I am very impressed with this crop of freshmen that came in this year. Not to brag too much on you guys, I don't want you to get the big head or anything, but this has been a very attentive, very focused group so far, because in some ways you're the first class that your high school experience wasn't directly impacted by COVID like some of the other classes.
Right.
And they kind of had to learn how to come back to school, after having a school experience just kind of robbed from them. Feel like this freshman class has been kind of in a better place, better mindset with, I'm in school, I'm going to be physically present, I'm going to be here, I'm going to take in all that I can. And I'm just really proud of this group. My wife told me a funny story from one of her classes. She has a lot of upper level students, and she was just saying, these freshmen, they're so talkative, they're so social.
Yeah.
And they lost so much of that, in their high school experience. And you guys, I'm excited. I'm glad to have you here.
All right, so thank you so much for those rapid-fire questions, Dr. Putman. Before we move on to our hot take of the day, if you have a hot take or college hack that you want to recommend, you can submit all of those at williamsbu.edu/thewilliamspulse.
And today's hot take is actually not a hot take, it is a question. Is a hot dog a sandwich or a taco?
I've heard many opinions on this one, so I don't know.
I feel like it's a sandwich, but the only thing that would make me think otherwise is that the bun is only open from one side.
Right, just like a taco, it's only connected, from one side.
But if you had a sandwich with one piece of bread folded over, you wouldn't call it a taco. A turkey sandwich with one piece of bread folded would still be a sandwich with one piece of bread. I just think the breading really puts the hot dog in the category of the sandwich.
I would say so.
I think the meat type, most hot dogs are made from lunch meat varieties of some kind. I think the meat would definitely put it in the category of a sandwich, and the breading, I definitely would go. But if we had to put it in a category, probably closer to a sandwich.
Yeah, I'm team sandwich. with that one.
And also subs open from one side, and we would definitely
That's
call
true.
those
That's
sandwiches
true.
too.
That's true.
So
Right. They don't
Yeah,
call
I think
them-
it's a sandwich.
I definitely think that's a good
They don't
point.
call them Subway tacos, so
They definitely don't.
yeah,
I don't know that I would eat a Subway taco, but
yeah. I don't know.
I don't know that I'd eat a sandwich from Taco Bell while we're on the subject.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
Nah. All right, moving on to the WBU news and athletic events for this week. So tomorrow, Monday, is Women's Open Dorm starting at 7 p.m.
Go over there and have some fun. Dr. Putman, do you want to announce Tuesday's events?
Oh, absolutely I do. We have trivia in the grill at 7:30. Women's soccer versus Lyon College at 4:30.
All right, you all are going to want to watch that one.
You don't want to miss out.
All right, and on Wednesday, we have the SSC Open House from 12 to 4.
And then on Thursday, we will have the men's open dorm also starting at 7 p.m. So if girls want to come over and check out some guys' dorms, guys, make sure that you clean up your rooms. Highly
Please.
recommended.
Maybe use some Febreze.
Yeah,
Yeah.
use the Febreze that's been sitting, in the closet and just collecting up dust.
And then lastly, our admissions news. If y'all want to sign up for a preview day, go to williamsbu.edu/preview. Dr. Putman, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Yes,
I
thank
enjoyed
you.
it very much.
Thank you for listening to The Pulse, but the conversation doesn't end here. Come back next week for another great time with us. See you guys next time.
Goodbye.